I want to go to Hashi Station and pick up power converters. This is Fluxtaposed episode 265, recorded on June 4th, 2019. On the docket today, Lucas is back. Let's catch up. Show updates, all the things, Whatchuplayin, featuring Game of Thrones and Dead to Me. Finally, we're going to close out the show with What's Around the Web and that sweet, awkward finish. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. But please, enjoy the show. Welcome back to Fluxtaposed. I am Jason Lacey. I am joined by Lucas Rose. Once again, welcome back to the show, Mr. Lucas.
Hi, friends.
Hello. We are happy to have you here. I'm happy to have you here. I'm happy. Everyone is here. We're happy. We're all here. We're all here now. Things are great.
Did you miss me?
Immediately after trying to produce one show by myself, I was like, this is horrible. This is horrible.
I've heard worse.
Especially when Fubar wasn't working, but we'll talk about that at a different time. Welcome to the show. This is Fluxtaposed, records every Tuesday live on twitch.tv/Fluxtaposed. Maybe you're watching live. Maybe you're listening to the recording on our RSS feed. Either way is fine. We are happy to have you here. Pull up a chair, as we like to say, as we guide you through life in all the ways that we fail at doing it.
It's true.
As always, join us on Discord. Fluxtaposed.com/Discord gets you the invite, and it's June. It's a new month. Congratulations to Mr. Josh Braboni once again for winning last month's giveaway. He claimed that digital game currency. So we got two prizes still there. The Menu digital album, the Super Mario Prince. We have a new one in the June giveaway. It's going to be live in the show notes now, or check out Discord. We've got the link in there for you to enter. And our third item we're giving away is a hardcover copy of a comic book that I've actually had my eyes on for a while. I was told that it's supposed to be inspired, or if you like Legend of Zelda, you should like this book. It's called Second Quest. It's hardcover. It looks really cool.
I thought it was a Zelda,
right?
Thing. So when I looked at it, I was like, oh,
heavily inspired. So that is in the prize bag for you to win this month of June. And guys. Hey, guys. We released Fluxtaposed Radio Volume 4.
Yes.
I know the updates are flying. Gotta go fast. It released this morning, 6 a.m. for patrons. You get that 7-day exclusive early access.
World premiere.
And it'll go live for everyone next week. It's a hot mix of racing / songs that make you go fast. So Sonic, basically Sonic. And you can get that early access if you support our show over at Patreon, which is patreon.com/Fluxtaposed. By no means do we expect you to, but if you did, that's cool with us. So, one last thing before we properly indoctrinate Lucas back into the show fold. Next week, guys, we have exclusive interview. Not exclusive, but we have an interview with Mr. Mustin from the One-Ups. He's a bass player. He plays the synth. He rocks the keyboard.
Does he slap us?
Produces the music. Oh, he slaps us the bass. I'm sure he does. So not only has he played with the band The One-Ups for several years, he's also produced his music on his own. He sent me this awesome care package of like everything he's ever done. It's amazing. It's all these discs, and it was way too kind. But we're gonna have him on the show.
Better.
We're gonna interview him. It's gonna be a great time. So if you want to send us some questions, we'd love to get your thoughts conveyed across on the airwaves. Be able to talk to him, ask your questions from us. From you, from us to him. There's a link on Patreon that I'd love for you to submit those to. I'm sure we'll gather some on Twitter as well. And it should be a great time. He seems like a rad dude. It'll be cool to hang out and chat up about all things like gaming cover bands and what it's like to, explore that side of the industry and everything. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a good time. We haven't had an interview with like a non-podcast. Like we haven't had a guest that's like a non-podcasting person in a while. I believe the last one was Jonathan Gilmore. I want to think was our last one. That's a long time ago.
That's going in the Wayback Machine.
Not like we've even had that many between, John Gilmore and I think Blake Harris. I think that's about it.
True.
I mean, I was really trying to leverage my enjoyment of the history of the future, and I was like, hey, Blake, you came on our show a long time ago. Thanks again. I really enjoyed the book. Like, I know you moved on to much bigger and better podcasts and other things now, but come on.
We do have on audio that you said you would come back. So
I know. I think there's probably if we really listen to it, I think we were saying to talk about like the documentary, or now it's like it's going to be a TV show, I believe.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I don't know.
Wasn't Sean Rogan involved somehow?
His name is Seth Rogen.
Or Seth Rogen, Sean Rogan.
Yeah, Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg are involved.
Nice.
He talks about I think he talked about it, and it's like I read an interview. Like after I finished the book, I did a lot of reading about it, but I read an interview. It talked about how he like wrote History of the Future and how like the success of console wars took off and how he never expected to, blah, blah, blah. But that is it. All the things are on the way. What I want to say is send your questions to us so we can ask them to us, and it's going to be a rad time. I hope you guys can join us for that next week. Let's go, Lucas. Welcome back, man.
Yeah.
It's been what, like 4 weeks? Really?
This is the fourth week, yeah. It feels...
it feels good, doesn't it? In a way, I mean, part of you probably misses doing things. I mean, it feels good to not be like beholden to content.
Yes, yes, because I am the ultimate slacker. But also, it's really one of the only things that I have consistently scheduled in my week. So without doing it on Tuesday, well, podcasts in general.
Oh, no.
And what? What?
You have PSVG scheduled usually.
Well, yeah, usually, but I also wasn't doing that either.
Right.
I'm making my debut here because this is my first love. You know, they don't care about me at PSVG. You're just
a number.
Yeah.
You're just a number to them.
They're like, here's the next guy to be crewed up with.
My name's Donnie Reese. I got 50 people that want a podcast in this network. And
who wants stickers and shirts?
Right. It was like, look at me. I'm like, I tried to be all heartfelt and be like, I'm not going to be able to do Nintendo Shack D3 for the first time in forever. And they're like, we got Jared now. Who cares about Flux?
We only cared when we didn't have anyone here. Now your seat's filled. Good luck.
So that's what's going to happen. Actually, no, you see, you got Kevin on your side. So you're okay.
I want that on a shirt. I've got Kevin on my side with him like thumbs up. Everyone's like,
with
what?
Him doing this.
He's my Salt Bae. It's true. I saw an interesting one today where he was slapping some meat. That was fun. Does that make him like a lot more than Salt Bae?
With like some rock salt, getting in it, tenderizing it?
No, he was just I guess you have to slap the meat. I don't know. It was like a big old pork loin or something. I'm not quite sure. There was no salt to be had. That's why I was confused. I'm like, is that my Salt Bae?
Was it the salt of the earth?
It could have been, or the crust of the earth. Wait, no, crusts are in pies. That'd be ridiculous. Yeah, I mean, either way, it feels.
Anything like remotely important happen?
Oh no, I played a lot of City Skylines.
I've just been playing City Skylines. I mean,
I don't know. My wife went to the hospital for like an hour. I didn't go. I was too tired. No, I had a little bundle of joy.
Little bundle of you're never gonna fucking sleep again.
Yeah. But no, getting back to the point, it was when you don't have something that's scheduled like that anymore, your days literally just kind of blur into one another.
Well, especially that first week of new baby when you're like sleep deprived and everything just kind of melts into another, and you're like,
can we just talk about that for a second? Because I don't know if it'll come up, but it seems like when you go to the hospital to have a baby, everyone just kind of silently agrees that nobody's going to get sleep. They don't even treat it like a weird thing. Like, oh yeah, we're sorry, but we got to come in. You know, it's just like, nope, you're not going to sleep. No one here is sleeping tonight. Obviously my wife's not going to sleep. She's giving a baby, but sometimes it takes hours, you know? And if you're going to give birth at 4:00 in the morning, that means you've been up since, in our case, 10 PM.
Right.
And it's like, oh my God, you lose a day. You really do. I envy people who are giving birth at like 3 p.m. They go out to Starbucks afterward and have a latte, a venti latte.
That's a marathon that's not fun to run.
No,
not fun at all.
No, everyone says, "Oh yeah, it's so cute. You're tired. Oh, those new parents or whatever. Those parents are dead tired with their new baby."
Listen to us. Like, we're the dads talking about it. We're just there.
Yeah,
we're just emotional support. We're not even doing anything.
Yeah,
so
I have no room to complain, really, but I'm going to do it anyway.
We
Hey,
can.
no respect. So, anyways, but before I want to get into that, I've been more curious about what you've been up to, because my stories are going to be quite long, drawn out.
Well, I mean, I'm getting a few things.
I got my Jason fix through my own podcast.
It's weird watching the product, isn't it?
It is.
It's weird,
behind the
weird
glass.
when you can sit back and see how the sausage gets made, and you're like, this really does explain a few things where performance is where it's at. Now I understand it.
So you're saying it's all your fault?
When I'm in it, I turn a blind eye. But now that I can stand back and kind of really appreciate it for what it's worth,
I like to think of it though. You say sausage, you put some pork in there and you put some flavoring. One of us is the pork and one of us is the flavoring, but you can't take pork. Are you saying
you want to pork me?
Yeah, I want to pork you and your sauce. Wait, what? No, I'm saying if you just take one of our ingredients and mix in peanut butter with your pork, that ain't going to taste very good. No, I mean, it might not be bad, but it's definitely not as good as a beautiful bratwurst exploding in your mouth.
We ran a gambit here. I'm looking for, it's been nice to get back to because with Sean was on, I didn't want to just do the show. I didn't want to just do the show and insert a guest because it just, I don't know. I just didn't feel like doing that. So Sean was here.
You wanted to give it a different feel.
Yeah, with Sean here, I kind of wish I would have structured a little more because I think that was a little too freeform. And then then again, I did the same thing with Donnie and Carol. And then it was like, for myself, I was like, oh, this is going to be like a 20-minute. And then when I got done, I was like, wow, I did almost like 45 minutes of just talking, it's easier with a Twitch audience. But, we don't have an overwhelming Twitch audience. We have the cool people that support us that like to come out, and so I at least had some feedback to go off of, and I had some stuff to do. I had to give away, and
I thought it sounded good. I listened.
It was fun. It was a lot easier than the last two I've done. Let's put it that way, where you're just like, well, I guess that's the show. We're done.
I was even impressed you did the solo show. That's tough. That's the real hard one. When you don't have anyone to throw it off, bounce things off from.
Yeah. Well, luckily Nintendo screwed things up for me that day, so I had some good fuel to rant and rave about for a little bit.
That is true. God, I still can't believe that. They're so backwards sometimes.
Well, don't say that, because I hear for that opinion, you're an entitled gamer. How dare you? You're entitled. You shouldn't expect to have modern functionality.
That's true. That's true. We can't set bars.
The best point, though, is here we go on tangents. It's what we do here on Fluxtaposed. The best point, as I love with the one case that Donnie made, because they need to have a united game plan, because it's different in every game.
Yeah.
Smash Bros, you can do that, but now in Mario Tennis, you can do that, and then we bring you this game. It's like, nope, you can't do any of that. And it's like, why some games you can, other games you can't? I can play online with my friends, Nintendo games, NES games, but I can't do it with your new. It
doesn't make any sense. If you give me a valid reason, then maybe I'd understand. But when it's shit like you said, it's pick and choose.
It'll get addressed. It has to be. Myself personally, gosh, this housing stuff, man. I've gone full circle now. Now,
you've been through the gamut.
I have been through the gambit. We've looked at a lot of places though, but after the Memorial Day weekend, we kind of decided that we really want to be closer to family, because my wife grew up experiencing what it's like to be on the opposite side. Like, her family was in they were in Midland, which wasn't too far from Dearborn, from Detroit. That's but later on, she moved to the west side of our state, and most of her family was 2.5 to 3 hour drive away, and the family didn't always make that trek. So by the distance, you weren't involved in a lot of things and always felt like you were missing out. And there's some you kind of felt like a little bit of an outsider to an extent with your family, and we don't want our son to experience that same thing, because my brother, his wife, and their son live really close to my dad and my stepmom. Mm-hmm. And then my other brother isn't too far away. So, it's natural that they're going to see each other more, but we wanted Aiden to have that closer experience with his grandparents, and not just see them every once in a while, and not only get together for special occasions. So, kind of change where we're looking. My commute would be the same time-wise, but it'd be further distance, but I'd be traveling on highway. So that doesn't really impact it too much. Pricing's about the same. It's just kind of waiting for the right thing to come up. And I think the more and more we think about and talk about it, not living in this house is probably the best. it's probably the right decision because we like our house. There's some great things about our house, but there's a lot of stuff that just it doesn't work here, and it's just never going to work.
Well, and you don't know something like that until you've lived in a house.
Yeah, until you like. And at one point, we thought we were going to have a larger family or this and that, and like having one bathroom is definitely not going to work as Aiden gets older. I could put another bathroom upstairs, but then we'd lose a bedroom. You could put one down here in the basement. There's a lot of stuff we could do to like, but it's an older house. It's built in '61, so it's got a bunch of weird quirks anyway. But you spend all that money to fix it, and the worst thing is your investment just isn't going to carry in this market, in this neighborhood.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get a return on that investment the only way you'd sink money into the house is if you plan to just, that's it. You're going to stay in this house.
You got to tear it down to the studs and then remodel all of the rooms.
It's not quite that crazy. So, we think, we met with our financial advisor and, talked about it with them too. And then, it came down to, you're going to make the right decision for your family. What you have to ask yourself is, you can look at that as a financial decision because, ideally we're going to sell this house and we're going to walk away with a decent amount of money that we can have to reinvest into another property. But, you have to say 5 to 10 years from now, where do we want to be? Do we want to be here? And it's the crazy thing. Like we live in Granville. It's so accessible. It's so convenient because there's everything you need around here. All your supermarkets, your Targets, your movie theater, the mall, any restaurant. I mean, there's so much that's within 5 minutes. So it's tough to like leave that. Plus our dentist is here, mechanic, doctors, so you're like, for me, I think the biggest thing was just like coming to terms with that change. I've lived here for a long time now.
Imagine moving out of state.
Oh, gosh, that almost might be easier because you're like a direct cut, you're cutting all those ties.
That because I guess you would be like, well, I could still go there, but it's 20 minutes and
So we looked at 4 places last Saturday. So we're still getting there. I don't know. We're not rushing. It's all gonna run its course and work out.
It's good that you have kind of where you're at though, because you were kind of in the middle.
We were like 3 or 4 times now. Now we kind of
sounds like it's settled a little bit.
Yeah, and it's oddly enough, it's the city where Lucas and I lived together when I first moved out.
Yes.
About 20 minutes north of where we're at right now, but it has like a lot of the same things that we like about Granville. So
it's true.
Should all work out. They got a good brewery. I mean, that's all that matters, right?
That is true. That is also true.
Sunday, probably had one of the most emotionally draining, exhausting, horrible days as a family ever for reasons I'm not going to get into. I just want to mention that we went through it. It was horrible, and we couldn't wait for the day to be done. At some point down the road, when this process is all completed, I will go back and I'll revisit this day, and I'll tell you what happened, and then it'll all make sense why I'm not telling you now. So there's your teaser.
Okay.
And this might not be going back to this for 6 to 8 months.
Wow.
So it's a long time. So
wow. Okay.
We're gonna put a little to be continued.
Put a pin in that.
I'm continuing my Python training.
Wait, can I just say, whenever you're gone off from Discord for a whole day, that's usually never a good sign because it's like, man, it's really quiet in here. Jason hasn't been around.
Typically, you'll find me on the weekends. I'm just not anyway because I try not to use my phone.
I feel like you check in the morning, and then I feel like it doesn't matter.
I'll check in at like when Aiden gets up, like before he gets up, and then I'll check in at nap time, and then probably not again until bedtime. So where I'm at work, I'm just sitting there all day. I'm still learning Python. Been grinding away at that. And Lucas, I did not post the sweaty selfie to prove it, but I went for did a little jogging today.
Nice.
Finally, I've been doing the calorie counting, which was fine and dandy. I was like, I clocked in the other day. I was like, I'm down to 170.8, which is like 170 where I left off how many months ago. And then I weighed in today and I gained 2 pounds. I was like, this doesn't even make any sense.
Why did I even go running? I'm quitting now.
So, doing the calorie counting, or I should say the app usage. I don't really think too much of calorie counting. And then I was like, I need to do some more exercise. So, I just had that urge to go jogging, do a little more. So I asked my son, I was like, hey, do you want me to push you fast in the stroller? He's like, yeah. So I put him in the stroller because it can be converted into like a jogging style stroller. And off we went, nice. Did like a 25 little minute route. And,
Dad, I'm scared. You're going too fast.
Well, it was so funny because if I'd stopped to take a drink, or I was like, let's face it, I haven't ran in a while. So it wasn't like, there was definitely it felt good to do, but it wasn't like a good experience. But he'd be like, run again. I was like, yeah, I'm going to need a couple minutes and then we'll run some more. But it felt good to get out there and do it. I really wish I want that. I want a fitness tracker. So that's probably like my next purchase. So I
Yeah.
want
Yeah.
to help, continue the motivation, and just it feels good to be doing something again. And it's been long overdue. So that is all.
Nice.
For me.
Nice. Yeah, fitness trackers. I'm kind of addicted to it now because you get hooked into the numbers and everything. I haven't been working out for obvious reasons that I'll get into, but um I'm so surprised at how much I enjoy having just a wristwatch on. You know, it's kind of nice
Yeah,
just to be able to go, what time is it? And then not have to dig your phone
yeah.
out of your pocket and have everything in there fall out, like all my condoms, just
So,
like piles of condoms, used
I've
or
been wearing
otherwise.
my normal watch at work quite a bit, and then I get like, oh, like today I wore a bracelet, and it's like, oh, I don't have a watch, and then that's the dilemma. It's like I would like wearing the watch, but I can't wear a watch and the fitness.
Bracelets
It's
are
like,
just watches without actual timepieces on them. They're just like, what if we took functionality away from a watch? And then they got a bracelet. So, question though, now that I've started wearing this, because I never wore watches that often, I'd always lose them actually. High school is about
oh,
when I stopped. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what happened. I moved in with you, and then ever since then, I could never keep track of it. I get this thing caught on doors constantly. If it's gonna hit something,
like what part of the door?
it'll hit the door handle as I'm walking by. I hit door frames that don't have doors on them with my hand. I apparently I don't know, move my arms around a lot or something, but I swear this thing's going to just have gouges in it at some point, which, you don't really want when it comes to watches.
I mean, no.
But anyways, so yeah, we were on Baby Watch. Baby Watch
Baby
number 2.
watch.
And not to be confused with Baywatch. Baby Watch number 2. And I had actually called. I have other witnesses that know that I called when that baby was going to be born. I said Thursday.
It's true. It's
And
true.
she came Thursday. She came a week early, basically. Now, here's how it all went down. I'm sitting downstairs in the basement playing computer. What was I playing?
Pillars of Eternity.
Pillars of. I got I got Path of Exile and Pillars of Eternity stuck in my head. I'm just gonna cough real quick. Oh gosh. Anyways, so I'm sitting here playing, and all of a sudden I see the lights flicker on and off, like flick, flip, flip, light switch. And I'm like, what the hell? So I'm like having a heart attack, and I look back, and it's my wife, and I'm like, what are you doing? I have my headphones on. You could just like, or no, she was like, you have your headphones on, so I couldn't get your attention. I'm like, you could have just came over and tapped me on the shoulder. I don't know if that would have been any better actually, but
Well,
so I'm just like,
yeah.
what? What are you bothering me about? And she's like, I think my water just broke. I'm like, and then I'm of course I'm just thinking, well, how do you know? Are you sure? What's going on? What's your symptoms? I got.
What do you mean it broke?
Yeah. What do you mean? Is this something I'm gonna have to pay for? Now she didn't have this experience with Isaac. She didn't. Her water never broke. She was already in the hospital, and then they induced labor.
Lavra. Lavre.
And so she didn't have that experience, and she's like, well, I'm kind of gushing over here. Like, it's not stopping. And I mean, in movies, they just show this one big gush and then it's done. But apparently it just continues. Like, you're just constantly peeing yourself or something. I don't know. So, all right, we're doing this, We got the bags packed. We threw everything in. We called Derek and Brittany.
Did you have, like, something set up? Like, did you have the bag packed ahead of time, or?
Hers. Mine, of course, I waited like an idiot.
Oh.
Even though I knew, it was like, I'm not going to be right. So I didn't have it. But I mean, I only need like 3 things. So we grabbed a bunch. Plus, we had to wait for Derek and Brittany to get over here anyway. So that gave me like 10 minutes to throw everything in. And I knew I wasn't going to be sleeping anyway. So I just wore what I wore and then grabbed some things to do that I'm not going to have any time to do anyways. Even though we're all just sitting there, you're not going to end up reading a book as your wife's getting labor. Or doing the labors. So
Most likely not.
yeah, so I just grabbed a bunch of stuff and I was like, all right, let's go. So we get to the hospital. And it was kind of nice that her water broke because with Isaac, we had a lot of times where we went in and we didn't know for sure if she was in labor or if it was the Braxton Hicks like false labor stuff or whatever. So we were like, okay, this is definitely water broke. Let's go. And when we got there, the nurse was like, "Oh yeah, you're sitting in a puddle in this wheelchair. You're definitely in labor. Let's just go straight to a room, pre-delivery room, instead of going to triage, where you have to sit in this really uncomfortable small room and they check you out and everything." Yeah. And so the nice thing was, we're sitting in that room. It's a little bit bigger. There's enough space to move everything out. And I forgot. I packed this bag of snacks and all this stuff, and I grabbed enough for her. And then I forgot. Wait, she can't have any food or water. They don't want her to have any of this stuff. So I'm just like holding this giant snack bag, and I'm like, "Oh, I guess this is all for me." But her mom comes to the hospital, and I thought about it, and I was like, if this is probably the last kid we're gonna have, I should at least attempt to get a hold of my mom and see if she wants to come in from Stanton, about an hour away. At this point, it's like midnight, I think. So I'm like, "Hey, Mom, do you want to come?" And bless her heart, she's very non-assuming. She never wants to intrude or anything. So she's like, "Well, do you want me there?" And I'm like, "You know what? Yes, like, just come."
Yeah.
I mean, it's our last kid. This is probably your last chance to see a grandchild born. So let's just do it. And so you're frozen on my screen for some reason.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
Yeah,
there you are. There you are.
I've been getting like weird connection, like the little connection box too in the chat. So I'm sure either my connection, either my internet's being funky, or just Appear Dynamic's being funky. Like everything looks great here. I see on the stream, like I'm like horrible.
Yeah, you're.
Why don't I try leaving the room and I'll rejoin it?
Okay. Well, I will. Hello, I had a bad day. BBXY says, "I'm sorry you had a bad day. Did you listen to the song Had a Bad Day, doing lots of stuff, kicking around, then you get really sad."
Is that better? Or are we about
You
the
look
same?
great, dude. So far. You look way better. You're not just You're not 4 pixels anymore, which is nice. It's very nice. So, anyways, we did the hospital thing. My mom came down. She made it just in time because this is what happened. We got it to the hospital. She was dilated to like 3. About an hour later, just before my mom gets there, she's at a 9. This ramped up quickly. Things got out of hand, out of control, very fast. Which was kind of nice because you don't want to have to. With our first, she was induced. We waited around. We walked around the unit there at the hospital for a long time trying to induce
let's
labor.
Let's get this thing moving.
Yeah. You feel like you just try pushing right now. I know there's no doctors around.
Do you feel a little rumble in the jungle? I mean,
I've got things to do later. No, it's not like that.
I was gonna play Nintendo Switch tonight. Can you
Can you hurry this up? Gotta play Mario Kart. So, yeah, it was nice that she got the epidural real quick, and apparently it worked better this time because I know last time she waited up until the last minute because she wasn't sure she wanted one or not, and then she was like, "Oh, thank God."
This time she's an experienced mom. It's like, "Yep,
bring it in." How soon is too soon? Can I get it yesterday? So they did that. And and then our doctor came in once she was at 9, and she got there, and we delivered that baby. And it was kind of weird for me because her mom was staying in the delivery room while the delivery was happening, which we were all fine with. We decided on that ahead of time because she really wanted to be there. And
she was going to assert herself into that position no matter what.
Well, kind of, but I didn't mind. I said as long as she's not getting in the way or not listening or anything, that's fine. And to her credit, she did very well. She, when things started getting serious, she was there. She held the leg. She told her to push. She encouraged, but she wasn't overbearing.
So she was supportive, and
yeah,
she wasn't just there where's my grandbaby?
Yeah, exactly.
She was,
push her out. Let's go faster. Come on.
Involved in helping with the process.
Yes. Good. Yeah. So it was pretty nice. So, cut the cord. Baby was born. Emotions.
It's a weird thing, isn't it? Cutting the cord, isn't it?
It is. I mean,
it's like you kind of have to saw it a little bit,
and it never cuts the first time because it squishes down, and then you have that little They give you 2 small scissors. That's what it needs. Or
Now,
that's what it is. I need the ones
where
where
were you? Were you like up? You were up by her head. I'm guessing you didn't want
Yeah,
to
yeah.
see. You probably still didn't want to see
No,
the
I saw
process.
everything. I saw everything. I saw it
Okay.
all. I saw the process the first time. The doctor encouraged it. She is very much like, come here. You can see, now the head's crowning and everything. And I'm like, yeah, I can see it. Yep, it's right there.
Yeah. See, if we had probably had like a traditional, we didn't have to have forceps and like that. But there's
Yeah,
some things probably better off.
don't need to
Just
see.
don't.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's true. We didn't have any of that. She was able to do all of that. Although with Isaac, that's another thing is when every time she pushed with Isaac, our first, his blood pressure would drop. Now here, or maybe it was his heartbeat, I don't remember. Either way, not good.
No.
Here, none of that problem. She was just allowed to push whenever she felt like she needed to, and out popped a baby. But yeah, I saw everything. Cut the cord.
Pop
We
goes
got
the
a
baby
baby.
because the baby goes pop.
That's right. Right
got a
out of
baby.
there. We had a baby.
Baby number 2.
Now, then we had to talk about, okay, how are we going to sleep? Because they wanted to keep her there at least 2 nights. It was funny because they actually gave her the option of going home the next day. Because technically she was there overnight,
Yeah.
then delivered, then another night, and then could have gone home. But then I was like, if you feel better about staying, you should just stay.
Yeah. Don't rush it. Take advantage of it.
Exactly. I mean, I'd want to go home as soon as possible, but that's just me. And also, we had some other issues, but we'll talk about that in a second. So here's what I wanted to talk about that was really tough for me. And I talked to Danette about it to a certain degree when this happened, but it took me a long time to kind of figure out why I was feeling this way. So, of course, everything was fine when she was born, and we were really happy and just, happy little family. And then the next day, people start coming and people are visiting and we're tired, we've barely slept. And
Yeah.
I start getting kind of this emotional feeling of like, now I recognize it. At the time I didn't, but I was kind of guilty. I guess when I started to look it up, they call it second child guilt, basically. Because I was thinking about like Isaac and him meeting her and how that was going to go. And I mean, Isaac's pretty mild mannered and I wasn't too worried about it.
Yeah.
Then I started thinking, him and I go to the library, but soon it's going to be him and I and baby sister.
His world is changing.
Yeah. And I felt kind of guilty about it. I took that away from him in a way. I'm an only kid to a certain degree, so I never knew what it was like to have.
Same here.
Like brother and sister or whatever at that age, 3 years apart or whatever. So I felt kind of guilty about it, and because I really think it was just because I was so tired, I got really emotional, and I couldn't stop like crying. I was like straight up crying, just like sobbing, holding her, and like feeling bad about feeling bad because that. You start spiraling because you're like, why do I feel bad about having a baby? This doesn't make any sense. And so I'm like sobbing openly while I'm holding her and the baby. And one of the doctors comes in to check on Danette. And it was like a male doctor who was kind of in charge of the post baby care, and just information giving and all that stuff and checking on baby and all that stuff. So I'm just like sitting here blubbering and he's like, is everything, is this a bad time? I'm like, just come in, I need to stop thinking about this. So just come in, and I'm like, over
there's
here.
never gonna be a good time.
No,
just do it now.
No. And then they're on their way and he walks in and I'm just like, try to hold it together. I gotta go to the bathroom. And obviously that's lessened to a certain degree now. I still think about it sometimes and I'm just like, well, I can rationalize it now. I think to myself, well, there's always chances for me to take him somewhere or mom to take him somewhere. We're not always going to be together. We'll go out of our way to make sure they both get enough time with mom and dad. It's just, you have to overcome those things. And at the time, it's just very overwhelming to think about all that and just know that that's how things are going to be and not really have an answer for it. But that's really far down the road, really. I mean, there are times when I feel bad because I'm holding her and mom's pumping upstairs, and he's got to go to the bathroom, and he's not quite at the level where he can do it by himself. But we're like, you got to go by yourself now because I can't. I'm feeding baby sister, and mom's upstairs. So if you have a problem, so he's kind of started to develop, some independence, but it wasn't on his own terms, and thankfully he didn't care.
He's 3.
3.5. He'll be 4 in September.
Yeah, that's what I thought. He'll be 4 in September. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think luckily though, like how has he done though? I mean, he's
good. He didn't cry. He didn't get upset or anything. He's in love with her, really. I mean, he understands that she's a baby and that she needs to be, you have to be careful around her.
Yeah.
He doesn't like when she cries. He's like, Mom, hold her. Mom, give her the pacifier. Mom, feed her. Because he's never done well with loud noises.
Yeah. I think he's you're at a better spot because he's old enough to kind of have a little better understanding. Like we've seen it like where some of the moms that are in some of the groups that the Aiden's in that have children that are his same age that he's friends with.
Mm-hmm.
They both of those parents have had, the one is I believe pregnant and the one has already had her second. And the one young little boy, once he had the new sibling, just like I mean, he was kind of he's similar to Aiden too. He's not like a little more reserved and not wild, and he's just more of a quiet child. And you can see that he just appears like the way my wife describes it. He just appears sad when you see him because he's he was used to having this attention, and now he's had to take a step back because the parents had to focus on the newborn, and you can just see that it's like he just kind of devastates him. So at least luckily he's older, and I don't think you've avoided that whole pitfall because he's on the other side of that with his emotional state and his ability of understanding.
Right. I completely agree. And if it could go the other way too, they get old enough, then they could also feel like, because they just kind of get more and more needier from an I want to spend a bunch of time with you perspective.
Right.
And it's like, well, we'll work on it. Actually, I'll get into where we're at now, because part of that, I'll jump ahead a little bit. Part of what I'm dealing with now is, so we have this cycle going on where, because we had some breastfeeding problems we had him with Isaac, and then we had him with her and are still having them. We are with Isaac, we gave up and just did bottle feeding. With Evelyn, I realize I haven't said her name. Evelyn, the baby.
People on Discord already knew that.
Yeah, that's why I hadn't said anything. But for people not in Discord, her name is Evelyn May.
What's wrong with you, Reggie Giff?
Why do you just keep referring to the baby as the baby? It is a person. So Evelyn May, she will breastfeed, but she doesn't actively feed, I guess. So she's very lightly sucking and barely getting anything, and it's just kind of falling asleep and doing all this other stuff.
That shit's annoying.
It is very annoying, and she does it while I'm bottle feeding her as well. So we're doing feeding, breastfeeding, and then mom pumps while I bottle feed. So that's kind of, I can be there to help. I couldn't, obviously, depending on when it falls in, I had to skip today. But generally speaking, that's kind of like why I haven't been playing games with anybody or anything, because I have had some schedule's erratic. Time. Yeah, it's like depending on when she feeds the first time in the morning, that depends. I might have to go down or go upstairs at 9:30. I might have to go up at 11:30. It's just kind of like.
So yeah, I don't want to go through any of that again. I'm good with one and done.
Yeah, I forgot how hard it was, and it is much harder because I remembered. I'm like, man, why is this kicking my ass? Because a couple days ago, I was super tired, like more tired than I've ever been. Tired all day, no matter what I did. I had coffee, didn't help. I kept drinking Mountain Dew, didn't help. And I don't even like Mountain Dew. I'm drinking it now just so that I have some caffeine, so that I'm not just a blob sitting here with no energy. So I'm like, why is this kicking me in the ass so badly? And I realized it's because we did I would keep Isaac overnight until about 5 o'clock in the morning, and then pass him off to her, and she would wake up after sleeping like 6 or 7 hours.
You guys did the shifts.
Yeah,
that's right.
And so, I mean, she still had to get up to pump and everything, and she still does now, obviously. But it was much easier to get a straight 6 hours of sleep. Even if it was only 6 hours, I wasn't waking up to bottle feed or anything. But now I am. So and it also determines when I go to bed, because if she needs me to bottle feed her anywhere between 11:30 and 12:30, I might as well not go to bed before that, because otherwise her last feeding was 3 hours ago, which means I would have to go to sleep at like 8 or 9. And I never go to sleep at 8 or 9. Otherwise I would sleep for like an hour and then have to wake up and just feel like garbage and, bottle feed and go back to sleep. So, or not go back to sleep. That would be even worse. So it's been really tough from that perspective, because we're waking up at least twice a night to bottle feed, and you're up for 30 minutes and she doesn't want to wake up and feed and stuff. So thankfully,
I always my favorite part of those moments is then you put them back and you're like, okay, now you're gonna go back to sleep, and then you're like laying there trying to sleep, and then they're making noise. Are they awake? They're awake. Oh God.
Oh yeah.
And you can't.
You just wonder, like, is she breathing? What's going on? Why are you coughing? Why are you? Yeah. Yeah.
Then meanwhile,
exactly.
you got the ticking clock in the room next door. It's like, you better get some sleep, because pretty soon I'm gonna wake up and you're gonna have to take care of me, because I'm 3 and I'm gonna be wild.
I'm gonna wake up at 7 and I'm ready to go. Thankfully we're lucky that he wakes up that late. I know there are kids who wake up at like 5 or 6 in the morning, and that's no. Is that your kid?
It's all random. Sometimes he wakes up before 6. Sometimes he wakes up during the 6 o'clock hour.
Ooh.
Today he slept till 7. So it's really weird.
It's a gift when you get the 7 o'clock. You're like, what's wrong? What's happening? Why isn't he awake yet?
I can deal with any time after 6. Just don't wake up before 6.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Because he's just grumpy. Because he's tired. Because he didn't sleep enough.
Poor guy. Funny how kids do that. Then you just continue to do that as an adult. So apparently we never want to get enough sleep. So, now we're dealing with, she farts all the time, dude. She stinks. She's constantly farting.
Those breast milk farts.
At the beginning, we thought that she was in pain a lot because of the gas, but we're starting to think a possible milk allergy, actually. So, which is really annoying, because they're like, well, if you cut out dairy from your diet, you should see a change within like 3 to 4 weeks. And it's like, we don't even know if this is what's causing it. So you're telling me we're going to go a month, and then at the end of the month, we might still be in the same spot? Can't we just do an allergy test? I know that involves needles and stuff, but I kind of feel like it'd be less painful.
Be a lot quicker.
Yeah. Just, what is she allergic to? Tell me. So yeah, it's been really tough, just from a sleep perspective and energy to really do anything. And so that's why, again, like, depending on how I feel, sometimes I just sit down here and watch something, because I'm tired. But again, my sleep schedule is dictated by feeding. And so I'm like, well, I'm just going to sit down here. And
you're like, sometimes I'm going to come down here to watch something and play something, but I just get in the chair and I just start staring at the wall. Next thing you know, it's 45 minutes have gone by.
Like, why is it going by so fast? What's happening? I thought time was supposed to be slow if you watch the clock, but no. So all of that to say, what I was going to say, and to close this off, is to say that I feel bad, because it is sort of coming true, because there's times where I'll be breastfeeding. I'll be breastfeeding.
You're breastfeeding?
I'll be. She probably could for me. I know. Gosh. What's that like? I have nipples. Can you milk me?
That's what I was thinking of. M-player days. I have nipples, Greg. Can you milk me?
I'll be bottle feeding her. Now I'm just picturing me breastfeeding a baby, and that's horrible. So I'll be bottle feeding her, and
you use both at once, I guess. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Pew,
Well,
pew, pew, pew,
you got suited like lasers, and then first she'll breastfeed, and then I'll bottle feed, and then she'll go up and pump, and next thing you know, it's been like 2 hours, because now it's lunchtime, and I told Isaac that we were going to go outside at 10 a.m., but now it's 1, because we might as well stay in and eat lunch before we go outside. And that's been happening more than once or twice. It's been kind of the kind of thing that happens at least 3 or 4 times a week. And I feel really bad, because our days are just getting away from us right now. You know what I mean? Like, I keep telling him, we're going to go to the library, and then that doesn't happen. And thankfully he's not old enough to remember that stuff really. Or he just doesn't, it's not as emotionally devastating, but
yeah,
I feel bad. I'm emotionally devastated. I'm tired. Okay, I just so yeah, it is kind of coming to pass, and we're just dealing with it as it comes. So, and what else can you do, really? That's what it comes down to. You deal with the things as they come. So
Yeah, I mean that's exactly it. That's what you have to do.
one day at a time. It sounds really cliche, but it's true. I saw your face.
I reacted because I noticed my phone buzzed, so I pulled up the old tweet deck and I got tagged in a retweet that new games are coming to Nintendo Switch Online. City Connection, which I never heard of.
No.
Volleyball, which you might be familiar with.
Yeah.
But finally, the co-op experience we've all been waiting for. Double Dragon 2.
Yes.
The Revenge is coming.
The 2 stands for 2 players. That's not true.
Sorry. So,
oh, no, you're fine because I'm done.
Away.
No, I'm done.
Oh.
But I saw your face and I was like, oh, I wonder what he saw.
I couldn't hide it.
Was it boobies?
Like purposely. Otherwise, I was purposely like Jared was blowing me up. He bought a house. Congratulations, Jared. So like I tried to like isolate all distractions so I could focus, and then I got this going on. It's
whatever.
like,
I've heard about your baby
on,
Discord. You're just
come on, guys.
Come on. Hey, guys.
Come on.
So yeah, I'm sorry to everyone. I've just basically been going downstairs and like sometimes I can't even. I've been checking Discord more recently, but
I was convinced he didn't even have a baby because I'm like, well, he's playing City Skylines again.
Yes, that is true. We'll talk about that in Whatchuplayin. But I did.
Other than it's like.
There was like a weird time at the first week we were home into the second where I actually did have some time when we were still figuring things out. Then that kind of went away, and now we have a schedule, but it's not quite the same. So yeah, we had a baby.
You did it.
Overall, everything's okay. Everything's good. We're getting some things figured out, but overall, she's good, and that's all you can really ask for. You know, you cross your fingers, and you're like, please don't come out with like 3 eyes or something. I really need you to be, you know, not have any heart problems or. You know, if you go into the NICU or something, I can't handle this emotionally. So, you know, for the parents out there who've had kids that are born premature or, you know, some sort of thing where they have to do surgery on a baby, like I can't even, I don't know. I don't think I can handle that. I don't think I want to try to handle that.
No.
I couldn't even handle having the actual kid and having a second one. Or first one. Can I
just say that creating the Michael Herman and the old Matt emotes for the server were probably the greatest things we ever did.
They get used more than anything else.
Oh my god, we really need to up our Twitch game and get some custom emotes up on the Twitch for people.
Yeah.
So one day.
Patreon's here.
God,
Twitch.
No. Shall we lighten the mood? Reset with a little overclocked remix?
Yeah,
break?
Yeah.
So, guys, as we talked about, I'm saying guys a lot tonight. I don't like it. Why am I doing that? I need to stop that. As we talked about at the top of the show, we recently released Fluxtaposed Radio Volume 4. Did I mention patrons get exclusive early access? Because I do. But yes, we released the Volume 4 today. So we'd like to feature a song, a track. Have you get it? Track racing
Wow.
from Volume 4. And tonight, Lucas has selected Sonic the Hedgehog Supersonic.
Not a racing game.
3POP or 3P0P?
3-Pop. I call it
3-Pop
because that's fun. Ooh, 3 popes. 3 non-blondes?
3 non-blondes. It's arrangement of one song, Green Hill Zone. Everyone knows that. I think you want to pay attention when Lucas intros this on the mix because he reveals something very revealing about himself and his personal life.
Michigan man reveals something very revealing when he reveals.
That I don't think you're going to want to miss. Of course, this comes from Sonic the Hedgehog, released 1991 on the Genesis by Sega. Music by Masato Nakamura. This is Green Hill Zone. It clocks in at 3 minutes, 15 seconds, and it's a good one. So if you like what you hear, you can look forward to the full release. If you're not a patron of Volume 4, Gotta Go Fast, coming next week, Tuesday morning. Otherwise, please check out OST Remix for this remix and many, many more. We're going to play this remix. We'll take a little break, and we'll come back for more show. A little Whatchuplayin, everything, you know. Getting our groove back. You know, it's like Stella. You got to get the groove back. So we're going to play it. We'll see you soon. And we are back.
That was
Yes?
a banger. Yeah,
It's
we're
a
back.
banger. That's what we like to say, huh?
I don't know. I saw someone say it once, and I'm like, is that what the kids say now? A banger?
Bangers and your mash and your.
Ooh, I do like bangers and mash. I do. That's when I eat sausage while watching the television show MASH.
Ooh,
It's a thing.
it's a thing.
We talk about
thing.
it on Reddit.
Oh, it's a thing. Well, we did Overclock Remix. Thank you for coming back with us. Let us jump into some What You Playing.
Because the remix was racing themed, so
Yeah, there you go.
So-
Lucas has a
so
new
I did
toy,
a
a new
Superman.
tool to help with the show. He's got that.
I do.
That Surface.
go.
I don't remember. That's it. The Surface
It's
Go.
because
I
it's
never
so
can
close
remember
to
that.
Surface Pro. I do want to say if I can just,
Can
and then
you
I'm
move
gonna.
it with all the wires.
I was gonna say I'm probably gonna drop it on the service right here. But I have this case for it in case I do drop it, and it's a very Fluxtaposed.
Oh wow, that's like what the 3DS new Galaxy Edition crap looked like.
They probably just stole it, knowing
Probably.
It's one of those things where you find it.
Third-party seller on Amazon.
Yeah, exactly. You find it, and then you find out that this same case is made by like 3 different companies, all called different things. You're just like, well, I'm just gonna go with whatever one's the
Go with that one.
cheapest one.
Yeah.
So
So
they
that's
probably
our
just stole it.
new soundboard essentially. That's what we use. So now you no
It's
longer have
basically
to
a
juggle your phone and
Yeah, well, you should never juggle a phone anyway, because you could possibly, throw it on the ground. But it's basically a Windows 10 computer, which has really
Yeah.
helped because we were very limited with other tablets in looking into, like the Fire tablet, and then I'm at the mercy of Amazon apps and
Yep.
and stuff. So
Yep. So we
Just
got
made
that
sense.
upgrade. Feels good. Our next big upgrade someday or microphones when that price ever drops again. Son of a
dude,
bitch.
that microphone used to be sold for like $100 before podcasting started, and now it's just like,
Right.
no, we can charge whatever we want. Dumb kids.
And I don't really think it's worth it to go into a different direction. So I think it'll be worth it to just to wait for it,
Or just wait until we have enough money to pay them their their inflated price. You
Yeah,
bastards.
I mean, there's that too.
I
So
feel like prices never go down. They just go
this
up.
is an extended IRL though. It's time for some What You Playing.
That's true.
Lucas, I did a few things.
Oh.
First off, there's a show on Netflix. I saw the commercial. I think I got the email. It's like, this is this upcoming
The
show.
email.
You might be interested in this.
I
And it's
love
called-
that.
The email that they send you when
Well-
it's relevant, but sometimes I'm like,
They give you the email, then your app tells you that there's some stuff,
That's
and
true.
then also, it's just like
then the
how
app
many
has
times
to give you notifications, watch the trailer, all that stupid stuff. But it was
Yep.
called it is called Rim of the World. It's
Yeah.
on Netflix. It's a movie, and it's all right.
This is actually what I was going to change my Netflixation pick to, because I had read that it's doing gangbusters overseas.
Really?
I believe it was
Really?
this one. Let me
Huh,
double
interesting.
check. Yeah.
The quick synopsis is these kids go away at summer camp, and then there's like an alien invasion that happens, and they got to save the world. I mean, that's really it. It's like I feel like they're like, well, people like Stranger Things, people like it. They like when kids team up and take on,
I was wrong.
great odds.
Yes.
And I mean, that's there. The thing is that it struggles a little bit. I think budget was an issue because you're relying on some CG, so there's some stuff there that
Ooh, yeah.
it's that for me. It's like that uncanny valley stuff where it's like I think people not your tech audience is gonna like be able to, not mind that. But for me, it's like, well, that creature really looks out of place there. Stuff
Hmm.
like moments like that with the special effects. And then, um, I think I don't know the age of the actors, but they're all playing like young teens in the show, and I mean I think they did all right with what they have. But the thing that I'm interested with is like I'm not sure who the audience this is for because there is some swearing in it. I'm guessing it's probably targeting like a teen demographic that you would watch with your parents, I would think, because I'm like it's not for young kids because part of it you're like it's got that feel good campy like a Disney show feel like something from the Disney Channel, but then has some more adult tone back and forth. So it's kind
Mm.
of and there's a lot of sexual innuendo going on too. But it was like a fun way for my wife. I would sit down, we watched a 90 to watch not to say kill 90 minutes, but to have watched something different instead of a show, and I didn't feel like I wasted the time. Was I blown away? No, but it was something. It was an experience, and plus the whole um I don't know. I like that. I like Stranger Things. I like it.
So it kind of worked
So,
in a
so it
way.
kind of worked. It kind of worked for me.
I want to just correct myself. It was actually The Wandering Earth on Netflix is a Chinese movie that is doing really well.
Oh,
And it's
okay.
like their first big movie that they've ever done. China, I
I,
mean.
I'm always really disappointed when a movie or anything sounds really great in the synopsis, and then like I start watching the trailer, I'm like, oh,
Mm.
it's foreign language film. Nope, can't do it.
I can't
I just can't.
read.
I can't do it. Smash Bros. Still playing that. I've fallen into it again lately. I've kind of put everything else I've been playing to the side, which I haven't been playing a lot of stuff. I've been just whatever, but made it
In
to
a
Elite
lull.
Smash. Made it to Elite Smash again. I'll be waiting to drop out of that shortly. I started toying around with making highlights. I just love this game. I just have so much fun playing it. I'm excited to we're probably going to get the next character hopefully revealed sometime around E3. I'm guessing for the one of the DLC fighters. It's just a good time, I just like Smash Bros. What can I say? Like I was watching some of the most recent tournament stuff, watching the ultimate gameplay, watching Melee of all things. And what I love is in the grand finals we had Joker, which go figure a DLC character wins a major tournament, and then we
Mm.
had a Palutena and technically a Peach player as well. But I mean, MK Leo is the guy who won this tournament, Smash and Splash 5, which is Splatoon, Smash Bros. There's a bunch of other games there, like Rivals of Eighth. There was a game there as well. But MK Leo is notoriously played in Smash Ultimate. Has played, oh gosh, not Roy and Marth. Ike. Ike has been his main that he's been devastated with, and then he pulls out Joker and just that's like his new main since he came out, and he just destroys people with this character, and
Wow.
it's like I think the unfortunate thing of like DLC characters, they can't be crappy. They got to be, and like historically from Smash Wii U, the DLC characters are kind of OP a little bit because you
Mm.
can't just put them into the game and
You're
then have
paying
them be
extra money
junk.
for them. Yeah.
Exactly. So I think that's part of the problem, and I think we've seen a trend now with how they released no, I won't say significant, but rather a decent balance update recently with the recent Smash Bros. Update, and I've seen a trend that I hope they don't continue to balance the game this way. Is characters that are like performing well or strong, we just nerf those characters instead of doing and like adjusting the lower tier characters. Don't
Yeah.
make a top performing character lesser. Do something with the lower character because that's just not fun just to bring the top one down. Let's do something to bring the other characters up and adjust them. So,
Yeah.
um, I don't
But
know.
that's not easy.
That's not.
It's
No, it's not
easier
easy.
just to change a number.
And not with that many fighters. So, uh, I was probably real honestly I was looking forward to jumping to Super Mario Maker 2, and now I'm going to wait on that. I have no urgency to
But they
jump
have
into that.
slopes now.
I don't want to build. I just want to play.
Changes the game.
I started reading a new book, The Invisible Fortress. It's unfortunately a fiction novel. I was really wanting to get into more gaming, nonfiction stuff like technology nonfiction after reading The History of the Future because I really dug it and it just really got me interested in that whole space. And I couldn't find really anything that spoke to me. You do like I was like, what books? Show me books like Console Wars, books like History of the Future, and
Did you try
I
an
got a couple.
audiobook? They'll speak to you.
I didn't try that. And I couldn't find anything that was really I was chomping at the bit for. The couple recommendations I did get, one was Masters of Doom, which is a story about the creation of Doom itself.
Cool.
And that's an older book, and it wasn't available physically anywhere, only an ebook version. So I was like, well, I can wait on that. Then there was another book that was recommended if you like Console Wars or Ready Player One, and it's actually one that they talk about in the History of the Future called Snow Crash, which is like heavily credited to like having that whole dystopian, that VR kind of future.
Okay.
It's a fiction novel. Again, that wasn't available physical, ebook only. So I was like, well, I can get that hopefully anytime. So then my third recommendation was something I pulled up based on just liking Ready Player One, and I think I found a couple articles that pointed me to this, and that's called this book I'm reading now called The Invisible Fortress, and it's it's set in the 80s, a lot of pop culture reference to that, and this kid's trying. All I've read so far is his friends. He's in high school, freshman. His friends, they're trying to steal a copy of a Playboy because it's got the photos of Vanna White in it that were published. So because she's the it girl of that time for
right.
So they're trying. That's one of the dialogues that's going on, and then he's got a Commodore 64 at home.
Is it really neato?
It's neato, and he's trying to program his own game to win this contest. So that's kind of the dialogues that are going on here, like him programming, trying to design these games, and then they're trying to steal this Playboy.
Story twist: he made the E.T. game. He was the man.
So I'm not too far into it, but after watching Ready Player One, that kind of and reading about VR, I'm kind of like in that headspace pretty thoroughly right now. Can I come over and play with your Oculus Rift?
Is that a euphemism? Either way, it's a yes.
Yeah,
it's a yes from me.
And then finally, my featured. Yes, I know. My featured.
I did it the same way. So.
Piece it's on Netflix. It's called Dead to Me, starring Christina Applegate and the other actress. I don't remember her name, but she was in Grandma's Boy and Freaks and Geeks. And
I've seen this.
I'm sure you've seen her, but it's awesome. Like my wife talked about it a bit, and she's like, "Do you want to watch it?" And she gave me the synopsis. Like, yeah, why not? And we watched it in like typical fashion, like 3 days. We crushed through it because whenever we both get into something, we just destroy the queue. The quick nerdy synopsis: Christina Applegate's character is recently suffered the loss of her husband. He was killed in a hit and run, and she has anger issues. Is in a really bad place, going to like grief support groups, and she's like driven to like find the person who killed him. The cops aren't really like, it's a hit and run. There's no evidence. Most of those cases aren't solved. And then she meets this other woman through the support group, and they become they form a friendship. But there's some things going on with her, and it alludes that maybe this person that she's friends with is in a different, it's alluded that she's psychotic early on.
Okay.
But their stories are woven deeper than you expect, and each episode you kind of find out more of what happened the night that her husband was killed.
They peel back the layers?
Yes, they peel back the layers and what leads up to it, and you've got some. It's like one of those things where you can see where it's going to finish potentially, but then you're kind of wonder, well, how are they going to do another season? Because it feels like this is the main show is built around this one storyline, and they wrap it up like who killed their husband. How do you do another episode?
That's kind of how I felt about Breaking Bad, sort of like you knew how it was going to end, but you're like, how does it get there?
Right, but the ending, you're going to be ready for more. That's all I'll say. It's just, I think that who else is in it? James Marsden. James Marsden. Is that how you say his name?
Marsden.
From he's in the HBO show Westworld.
Yes, I see him.
Like the acting's great. I mean, the show is excellent. I mean, it's funny. It's like gripping. I can't say enough good things about it. And it's funny when I was watching this, you know when you're watching a Netflix show and you can really tell when it's a good series and when it's not. Like sometimes it feels like they just put something on there for the sake of putting on there, but this is like visually it looks well. It has the production values there. You just get this feeling like
you feel like it could be on a TV,
like and you're like
NBC or CBS.
You just get that initial impression, you're like this is going to be a good show, and then sometimes you're watching something and you're like, this is not good at all.
Who made this?
But so those kind of thoughts crept through my head, and it really has like this, like the whole process how it slowly reveals the events, and you kind of find out more what happened, and did someone else cause this, or did she push him out of the, so much going on. And then like there's this whole family dynamic too. She has two sons, and then there's, how are they handling the death of their father? How is that creating tension in the house? Is there anger? There's a lot of stuff going on that's interesting, and then plus other characters are dealing with grief and loss in other ways too, which is it's all very interesting. I mean, it just
sounds like a real character piece.
You might say that. And I mean, we just liked it. My wife and I were like, well, we're going to watch this. Yep. And we go through 3 episodes. And I think there's only
always a good feeling.
8. I don't think there's 10. I think there's only 8 episodes anyway. And they're only 30 minutes, 36. They're not an hour. It's an hour episode show. So it's a little easily digestible.
Nice.
And it's really good. So I fully recommend it to the listeners. It's good. Dead to Me. You should watch it.
Nice. I will check that out.
And if you don't, you are dead to me.
Oh God, nice. I like it. I picked something back up on.
Stay with me, Lucas. You'll be dead.
Okay.
I wanted a 12 star system.
Yes. I'll be sure to watch out then.
You'll be dead.
There it is.
Yeah. All right. I think that joke is now dead.
Well then. I was going to say I rediscovered something I had been watching on Netflix and am thoroughly enjoying it, but I will talk about that next week. Instead, I want to get to my Whatchuplayin. Let's get City Skylines out of the way. Okay, so for some reason, I just needed something that, one, I could pause easily. I wasn't getting too involved in. I felt like I needed a creative outlet to a certain degree. And of course, planning a city to a certain degree is kind of creative. And one of the bigger things that I was starting to do that I hadn't done before was use mods in the game because it has really good Steam Workshop support.
I thought for sure this would be your featured game based on how much you've talked this up.
Well, I've talked about it before, so I was kind of like, and I have a lot to say about the other stuff. But I mean, what can you say? It's a city building game. It runs really well. There's a huge community out there, so it's not like a dead game where you're just kind of playing it and there's no support anymore.
Well, let's face it. This game benefited the most by SimCity coming out and being a complete turd.
Failure, yeah.
And unplayable, all the server issues. And then they're like, here's City Skylines. And then it was just like, we're the SimCity that it wishes it was.
Pretty much. Well, and I wonder how much of that was, because they did the Cities in Motion games where you had to do you would just focus on traffic.
Isn't that is a Motion City soundtrack album, isn't it?
Perhaps it
Sounds
is.
like
it does. But anyway, so I started using mods, and a lot of them, some of them were quality of life improvements. Like oftentimes there'll be abandoned buildings for one reason or another. Like it was abandoned because there weren't enough customers, or it was abandoned because there weren't enough workers. So these will pop up from time to time. But as your city gets larger, it's a pain in the ass to go through and delete all of them by hand, one by one. So then you install a mod that just gives you a button that clears them all whenever you press the button, which is really nice. And then visual improvements like new road textures was the biggest one. I know this sounds super nerdy, but it makes them look much more fresh, and they stand out visually. And like once you get them, it's kind of like Skyrim. Once you start installing mods and you layer them on top of each other. I like
my asphalt to have a little sheen.
Can I get a sheen? Do I have a sheen slider? Can I get a sheen slider?
I made a Shadowrun world, so I need it to look like it's raining all the time on the pavement.
Well, then just make a bunch of industry and you'll just have smog and clouds everywhere. So yeah, I don't know. I was really getting into it. I was playing it constantly. It was easy to just leave up. I didn't feel bad about like pausing it, knowing that I wouldn't come back for another 20 or 30 minutes and just, sit down and do something. It's really easy to play in just little tidbits, basically. The other game that I played, I can't really talk too much about this. So it's Rage 2. I did order this game. I did it through Best Buy because I was like, I only have my Gamer Club unlocked thing for so long because I can't renew it. So I might as well make some use of it. So I went on there and I looked at PC games and I pre-ordered some, but that'll be a conversation for another time. But Rage 2 was one of them. And I was just like, you know what? Screw it. This is like a splurge. I'm going to do this one.
Just did it.
And I will say that the marketing definitely misled a lot of people.
Much like your your journey back into your old hard drive and you discovered your music, I think there's probably a song that by Muse that's probably in there that probably fits this so well about your Gamers Club Unlocked, talking about how time is running out.
Yeah,
My time is running out. I don't
that's
remember those two
beautiful.
lyrics. Thank you.
It was those are some of them.
That's
of
some
the
of them.
lyrics.
But there's probably some pressure though. You got to like take advantage while you can and get the best game possible while you can.
Yeah, and you want to play it because you just bought it, so you're like, well, I can't just throw it.
The original Rage, I never played Rage. I mean, the original when Carmack first announced it, I remember it was interesting to me, and I think the initial game was solid, right? I mean, it seemed to be did popular or did well enough, right?
It was basically what happened with number 2, and that's that the mechanics of playing the game were fine, but the actual like story and any substance and lore of the world building was non-existent practically. There just wasn't much soul to the game. You know what I mean? So I can't really add much to what people have already said. I'm sure many of you listen to other podcasts. I'm sure you've seen people kind of ripping into this game for not being the sort of Borderlands-esque game that it kind of looked like, or Far Cry, New Dawn, or whatever. It's not as crazy as it seems like it's going to be. It's light on story, but the gameplay is there. It feels very much like Doom, actually, because you have melee. The weapons are similar.
Wait, melee, wave dash,
Nairs. Don't get too excited.
Nairs, dares, fairs, bears,
bears. Now the whole station's in danger. Tootsies. So I did a little experiment. Here's what I did. People in the Discord may have saw me boot this game up. Borderlands pre-sequel. Okay, so I've never played this game before. I don't even know how I have it. But I was wondering to myself...
Humble bundle.
Yeah, I probably, yes. I was wondering to myself, okay, so like how different are these really? Because I haven't played a Borderlands game since we played with Callow and Josh.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And even then it was just like, hey, do you want to jump in? When you play multiplayer in a game like that, you're not really concentrating on anything but like just shooting things. So I was like, okay, so let's boot up this Borderlands pre-sequel. I've never played it. I don't know what the intro's like. I don't know how they invest you in the world right away, and see how it stacks up against Rage 2. And I have to say it is much more charming. It has that Borderlands charm that we all know and love. The story is already intriguing from the very beginning, and the presentation is just better. I don't need it to be like wacky, crazy, offbeat comedy and everything, but it's kind of like the difference between Marvel and DC movies.
How much better does like the pre-sequel play than Borderlands 2? Because I'll be surprised. I didn't really enjoy playing Borderlands 2 as like I thought I was going to.
Well, I thought
it was fun to play with the group, but the actual gameplay, like I feel like once you aim down the sights, it zooms in so much, and you're just like you can't aim properly to hit things.
Like
maybe
the
that's
FOV
just
is kind of
and I wonder if that's just because we're low level and as your skills and you can augment your abilities a little bit. But
I didn't think it was too bad. One thing I did notice, because I didn't play it for too long, but they give you your skill unlocked at level 3 instead of level 10, which kind of helped because by level 10 it takes you like at least 30 minutes or so to get to that level, and so it kind of brought things up a little bit faster. And in that game you play an intro where you're going to the Hyperion ship that Handsome Jack is on, and you meet him before he's turned into the villain of Borderlands 2.
Right.
So already, I mean, I'm kind of already biased towards it anyways, but it was more interesting because the characters are more developed. They seem more interesting on a surface level. The
plus
voice
Borderlands
acting
3
is better. And that, of course, once that was announced, everyone's like, I gotta go back. I've played it 300 times, but I gotta go back.
We did it once.
We did.
Maybe we'll do it again. I would play it again. For the love of God, I just want to play through Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon's Keep. That's all I want to do.
True.
I want to play through that once in my life. Okay, I've done all the DLC except that one, and that's the only one that matters.
I agree. I think it looks very fun, and I never got a chance to play it, unfortunately. So I don't even know if I own it. I'm sure you could probably talk me into buying it. I'll buy anything. I'll buy it for $1. What do you
How
want
do
from
you
me?
not have the big pack of Borderlands 2? How do you not have the pack that has everything?
Humble bundle. I don't know.
You probably have it. I'm sure you do.
Well, I will look it up on air right now. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
So yeah,
Hold on.
the experiment. Bam, bam, bam.
Now it's an episode of Fluxtaposed, damn it.
So the experiment was a complete success in that Rage 2 is not quite as fun as it seems.
Do you think you'll finish it?
Yes, but I have kind of stomped out the bug that makes me feel like I have to do every open world side mission. Also, I already played this game. It was called Mad Max, and while that wasn't a shooter, it was basically Batman Arkham Asylum meets Mad Max.
That's how I'll finish Steam World Quest ever get back into it. I'm just gonna finish it. I'm not gonna try to find all the treasure. I'm just gonna finish it.
And that's what it is. There's like you clear the bases, you unblock the roads. There's car combat, which really makes you. And then I found out, yes, they made Mad Max, so that completely makes sense. But I don't know. It's okay, but the motivation is really just to finish the game so that I feel like I didn't waste my money. It's not bad, but it ain't great. It's just kind of sitting in that middle space where you could easily drop it if you really wanted to. I've been watching a couple things. I actually finished this today. I won't spoil it. Chernobyl. I'm really glad that I started this series.
It's fantastic.
It is great. It really is.
I watched 2 episodes.
It's there's not one episode where I felt like, well, I didn't need to watch that one. I mean, it helps that it's only 5 episodes or whatever, or 5. Yeah, I think 5. That helps. But the story is just so focused and it just stays interesting. I don't know how better to describe it. I mean, it's really just told really well.
John Oliver makes a lot of jokes about how HBO is fucked now that they're in a post Game of Thrones HBO, like the network's doomed. But I don't know. They've got some great original programming. Like I still need to watch Westworld season 2.
Yeah,
I am watching Chernobyl. I'm really excited for Watchmen coming up.
Yeah, I saw a trailer for that. That looked interesting. I
want to watch Barry. There's another show coming that looks really good. I think my wife's interested in watching Big Little Lies. That's on there. There's a lot of they've got a lot of good shows.
Deadwood movie is coming out.
Deadwood movie. I've never watched Deadwood, so there's always something I can check out. And then
Deadwood was good.
Just watch the movie.
Deadwood was good, but Deadwood was good.
Wood.
I watched it when I was doing security though, so
yeah, right.
Back then I wasn't really thinking. I was just like, what can entertain me at this horrible job?
Right. So I mean, the point is that, like, HBO makes really good, like, especially short. What do I want to say? Mini good docuseries, but good like a little mini series and stuff too.
Yeah,
I mean, plus one of my favorite shows of all time, Silicon Valley, still on there. So.
That's true. They have plenty of programs.
Kiss my piss.
The thing is that they don't have that one show, but neither does Netflix really. They don't have one show either, so I don't think they're screwed. I will say if they don't like up their technology game a little bit. I'm pissed off at Hulu for this exact same thing. They both have problems, different ones, but it's not great. Their streaming quality isn't the best. It's not horrible, but it ain't great. And for HBO, they used to be the leader in that type of thing. It's literally called home box office.
Right.
It should be good quality. They should care about that type of thing. Getting back to Chernobyl, though, I will say for me, it's kind of terrifying in a weird, slow, creeping way because it's so grounded in reality for me. I actually have sort of an irrational fear of radiation poisoning and sickness.
Oh, God.
And I put it together with like getting jettisoned or lost in space. I blame like those movies from the 90s when we were obsessed with space movies and people like their helmets crack open and suddenly they turn into ice cubes and then it shatter into a million pieces.
And like the bloody tears freeze.
Exactly.
Fun fact though, when you hear the word Chernobyl, what do you think of?
Jared telling that junk ass story.
Absolutely.
Yes, of course. My wife asked if I talked to Jared and I was like, no, it's a TV show. But he also met Harrison Ford, so the guy's been a lot of places. So to get to I finished it. It is great. It stays good the whole time. You should watch it. It's awesome. I'm glad you're watching it because That's actually what made me check it out because I saw it when I was watching my main thing.
Yeah, every time you saw those commercials for it, like, yep, let's do it.
There's a guy in a gas mask. I better watch this.
Maybe love can bloom on a battlefield.
That's a very poignant statement. Thank you.
I think we should pool our patron funds, and we should use Cameo and get David Hayter to record us.
I like that. Can I just get a soundboard of you?
This is Fluxtaposed. Oh, can I take off the suit?
I love it. All right, Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones. I am going to be spoiling this.
Sorry, one last random thing.
Yes.
Did you happen to watch? I posted in the Discord. Did you happen to watch the Mega 64 guys did like 2 videos, like 5 minutes each. That was like Metal Gear Solid. What is the term called that Please Rewind, that movie with Jack Black where they
like where they remake the movies.
Yeah, what does that call it? Like they switch. It's like starts with an S. They sweeted the movies.
I've never heard of that before.
They sweeted Metal. Dude, you got to watch it. I don't know if you ever did, but it'd be. Right
I may have seen it when it first came because it sounds like something I had watched a while ago. Like because I haven't checked them out in a long.
I haven't
time.
ever. Every once in a while, I think about it and I go back to it. And this is good. It is good stuff.
I'll have to see. It
just reminds me. It's just like it was almost like real life Metal Gear Awesome a little bit.
Because didn't one of the guys try to sneak around in a box? I mean, that's kind of
they did. They had their old Metal Gear.
Maybe that's
stuff
what I'm
too.
Thinking
This is fairly recent.
Okay. Then I have not seen it, and I will have to look it up.
Check it out. You guys all listen. You should do. Now, please.
It's on HBO Go.
It is on HBO Go, and if you
I like it, but you can't see any of the dark episodes. Speaking of which, Game of Thrones season 8. I'm going to be spoiling it.
I have watched it. Yes.
I checked in with you to make sure I wasn't spoiling anything. I know I'm late to the game. Okay, everyone's already seen this. Everyone's already bitched on the internet about it. But what happened was we were going to watch it together, my wife and I, because we saw all of the episodes together. Well, that was before we had kids, and so. I think the last season we were able to watch because Isaac was so young that he didn't know what was going on anyway. He was still a baby. So we realized we're probably just going to have to watch it at separate times and then book club it if there's anything we want to talk about, because my free time is going to happen when she's sleeping. Her free time is when she's pumping or breastfeeding or whatever. So she can just watch it on a laptop or whatever. That way we both can watch it. No spoilers. She already had some things spoiled for her.
No
spoilies. So I thought this season sucked up until after episode 3. It was really like Game of Thrones meets MTV because everything was relationship based. And Daenerys is suddenly talking about like, I just love you, Jon Snow. And I'm like, when did this get like this? What happened? I know season 7 wasn't the best, but I don't remember it being so like, I don't know. She suddenly just was all about him.
It's just the opposite of all her motivations have always been like,
it had
much
nothing
more
to
about
do
the
with
throne,
relationships.
and then all of a sudden she gets so, well, it's that nephew blood running through his veins.
It makes him irresistible.
That's right.
Well, and yeah, she's had relationships, but
what
it's
happened?
always
I can't remember what happened to the dude that was her bodyguard. Not the guy that the actor
replaced.
Changed.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name, and then I don't remember how he exited the show. Did he get killed?
Are you talking about the guy who got stone skin or whatever? And
not him.
How many damn bodyguards does she need?
The guy that he was a mercenary, and I don't remember how she picked him up, and I can't.
I think he became a traitor or something. I don't remember. He didn't. I don't know.
I know who Jorah Mormont is. Okay, I know it wasn't him.
I didn't know his name. I don't know, stone skin guy. Well, and that's the other thing is there's a really big time lapse between season 7 and 8, so it was hard for me to remember, but I wasn't going to go back and watch season 7 because I ain't got time for that shit. So episode 3 was really probably the worst. It was a real big letdown because I'd never read the books. I'm sorry, I know. But
Dario Naharis.
Oh yeah, Dario.
I was thinking of.
Na Dario. So it always seemed to me like that was the biggest. Like, how do you not end on that night where you are fighting the Night King, right? That
Right.
seemed to me like the point. None of what, like, the Game of Thrones, the actual, like, vying for the throne in King's Landing, never was the point, really. It was just our petty human squabbles that were detracting from the fact that none of that really matters because the world is about to end. And unless we get our shit together, we're all going to die anyway. Because winter is coming. We've known that since season 1. Took us 10 seasons to finally come together to this moment in episode 3 of the last season for some reason.
But didn't it feel like empty after that point?
No,
like,
I think it got better.
I don't know, because so much has been built up this entire show about the White Walkers and the Night King and all this, and then once that battle was over, I was a bit
the stakes were lowered. Yes,
yeah,
like it didn't feel.
Don't get me wrong. I've been waiting for a long time for Cersei Lannister to get hers. I mean, trust me.
Yes,
but
we all have. But yes, I will. Okay, so I will say, as a show, it was written better. Still not great, but the show itself improved. The characters kind of came back into their own again. But I will say, yes, the whole ideology of the show kind of was gone, it seemed like. But anyways, there was this weird speed up effect I talked about on Discord, and no one knew what I was talking about, but I went back and looked, and what a terrible idea. They sped up like a music video for some reason. Music video. I don't know why I said it that way, but it was just an awful effect that was very distracting to me. You never see it again. Never saw it before. There was then the Red Witch, she lit all the swords on fire. Melisandre. That's right. And then the Dothraki charge by themselves for some reason, and they get killed. That doesn't make any sense. Why did that happen? The way Arya just...
They were the spearhead of the army.
Well, you don't send them to their deaths for no reason. It was a cool looking scene, but that's what it felt like. They were like, we want to show all these lights going out and like drum up some fear. So
I think they really had to show like how overwhelming the army of the dead really was.
Yeah. I will say it was good on them to not... It didn't feel like Lord of the Rings meets Game of Thrones. I never had that feel. Ooh, maybe. Dabu? Sug. So the way Arya just kind of comes out of nowhere and pole vaults from nothing. There's no Assassin's Creed like overhangs to jump off from or anything. It just comes out of nowhere and does like a superhero anime stab and...
But then she drops it and catches it.
I was okay with that. At least that was a callback. Yeah.
I mean, okay, here's my biggest thing with that. Okay, like,
and she bones that guy.
My whole stance in this season was like, I just kind of was like, whatever. And for the most part, I was just ready for the show to be done.
That's why I was
just tired of everyone everywhere talking about the show.
Yeah.
And I was just kind of like interested to see how they're going to wrap it together. I don't know. I probably will go back and read the books. I don't know. I've
always wanted to.
Book 3, I think. I can't even remember. It's been a long time. I probably have to start the book all over. That's been that long.
Yeah.
But, at this point, like, especially after this episode, I was like, okay, here's the issue. Nobody significant dies.
Yeah. No.
All the main players live untouched. Don't get,
the people in the crypt. There were tons
Jaime
of
Lannister,
people
Jon Snow. Brienne of Tarth, nothing. No major wounds. Tyrion,
the guy that
Sansa,
comes along with her. I can't remember his name. Podrick.
Yeah.
He doesn't even die.
No,
that dude's never fought in a battle.
I mean, yeah, we lose. Mormont dies protecting his queen, which is fitting for his story arc.
To die.
It's like exactly. And then we had what. Sausage Man. He got killed there defending Bran.
God, that's right. Thorin Greyjoy.
Theon. And then probably the most significant death. Let's face it, the most significant death we see is when Lady Mormont dies stabbing that fucking
Yeah, she was a bad...
giant in the eye. I mean, that was amazing.
Come on, bring it.
And then
that was pretty interesting.
I don't know. So that's like an issue I have. And then like, it just, I don't know, man. Like,
it really felt like something that just happened.
Yeah, and then just ramped it. And then like, I was like, well, we got a journey to King's Landing now. And 20 minutes later, well, we're in King's Landing. You know,
that
it's
is
like
true.
These weird geographic jumps that it does. Like it didn't seem like any time it's passed, and they're immediately in King's Landing for this final send off, the final stand down, and I don't know.
And then
like,
she like a switch flips in Daenerys's head, and she decides she needs to kill
she turns heel, and like this whole thing is like that they'll talk about is like what they say is like with Targaryens you flip a coin. Because you either get whether they're going to be crazy or not.
True, but I'm sorry, but we've had plenty of instances that show that she's not that crazy. There's not even a slow turn.
Jon Snow has pushed her away. She's got to rule by fear because the people love Jon Snow. They'll never love her the same way.
Yeah, well, you did a lot without Jon Snow, so yeah, none of that made any sense. It completely out of character for her. I wonder what the book is like what the book will be like. He ain't gonna write it like that now because everyone's upset.
I mean, here's the thing. Here's my biggest argument against the way things ended is it's all way too fairy tale that goes against how everything we've ever seen with Game of Thrones up to this point. You know, everyone kind of got their happy ending,
just desserts,
so to speak. You know,
well,
Jaime and Cersei die together. Brienne becomes a knight. Serves the king. Oh, can I jump back? Can we jump back to the Battle of Winterfell again?
Yeah.
And up to this point, it's like, when the F is Bran Stark going to do anything? You know, the whole time of the battle, he sits there, he flies off with the crow as a crow, but we don't really ever see what he sees then.
Yeah.
It's all just open interpretation.
He was kind of obnoxious anyway. His character and acting.
I just don't like how everyone kind of got their own happy endings in a way. I mean, I guess you can say Jon Snow didn't because he had to make the sacrifice to better for the world. But
that would have been more upsetting to me if he became the king.
I think that would be the way too cliche route to take. And like, I just can't believe it. You really think like, why did the Unsullied take him hostage? You know, at that point, wouldn't they just murder him? You know,
yeah.
I just can't imagine but.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that become questionable because they didn't give themselves enough time to address how they can get to this point. They connected dots, but it was like ABC.
Yeah.
And Game of Thrones has always been like, you know, there's 200 dots and some of them connect way over here and come back and all of that is missing suddenly and it just doesn't feel right.
And like, why did they always keep cutting down the episodes? You know, we went from 10 episodes to 8 to 6.
And then with longer runtime. So it's like, why did you just...
You got to see, as they dubbed it on the internet, the Clegane Bowl, you know?
Yeah. And even that was
Sandor versus whatever the hell his brother's name was.
The Mountain. I don't remember his actual name, but it was the Mountain. Whatever. Why? Yeah. Why did he go and kill him?
Frankengane was just like, you know, I was waiting for him to not be dead still, though. You know?
That would have been funny.
And do you think, like, yeah, I mean, there's going to be a Game of Thrones. We're going to see, I think only one, one spinoff now, like a prequel. But it's like, well, we can revisit Arya in the future because she's going on adventures.
Yeah, that didn't make any sense either. She's just an explorer now. I mean, I know she's traveled.
It's like Wind Waker meets Game of Thrones.
Ooh,
starring Arya Stark.
I like that. I'd play that game.
I mean, see, again, you know, Sansa got to be a queen, and then Jon got to go out and do his thing, adventure with the wildlings. It just, everyone got theirs, and it just felt too... Because Game of Thrones has never done that, you know? There's always been a lot of bitterness in their endings.
There was no red wedding moment, and you would think in the final season, every episode would be a red wedding episode.
But at the same time, I wouldn't want the job that the showrunners had, because there's no way they could really end this that would probably make everyone happy.
Well, the problem is they made a show that wasn't done being written yet, and the person who actually is supposed to be writing it was no longer really involved. So
Yeah.
what do you do there? It is true though. You can't make the internet happy, especially if they love what you're making. At one point, they will kill you for your baby. So all that to say, I'm not even upset about it because I really don't care. I just finished it.
Happy
Like
it's
you
done.
said.
I'm happy it's done.
Yeah, it's over with. I can read the book and say the book was better, and then
It was cool, and it's done.
Speaking of done, I'm done with What You Playing.
Done with What You Playing? Well,
yeah.
Speaking of done, let's get done with the show with a quick little trip around the web. We got one article tonight coming from the Smoking Gun. Headline reads, "A snake rises from toilet. Bites, you guessed it, Florida man."
Florida man.
Police report provides nightmare fuel aplenty. Florida man lifted the toilet seat in his bathroom early Sunday morning. A 4-foot ball python rose out of the toilet and bit him on the arm. This is
Jesus,
this happened
why
on May
is his
29th.
arm? Oh, I guess he lifted the. Okay.
Yeah.
Like,
Cops say that he does not own the snake and had no clue how the non-venomous, that's a key point, reptile slithered into his Coral Springs apartment. He's a Target employee. That's important to make note of. You may know he's a Target employee. He was treated in his home by emergency service workers following the 6 a.m. snake bite. Ball python, pictured at right, was corralled by Coral Springs Police Department Animal Control. The snake was subsequently brought to a veterinarian's office for treatment of an infection. So there you go.
The snake had better treatment than the guy did. You're just Florida man. You could suck it up. You just got bit on the arm. You're fine. Go back to Target.
I accidentally clicked
a grocery.
The related news story. And again, a Florida woman was arrested early yesterday for striking her adult stepson with a leather belt 30 times after he was late for his midnight curfew. I mean, everything. Well, I don't get it, man. Everything happens in Florida. Why is it? Here's
a thing on here as well. It's a banner. Cops allege Smollett used Venmo for drug buys. What does that even mean? I don't know any of those. Are those words? I know what cops
Venmo is an online digital payment. It's an app where you can send money to people like PayPal.
Who's Smollett?
That must be the person. I don't know.
I know, but it says it like I should know who it is. I probably should.
Here's another good one. Woman, police hunting toilet paper, vodka thief. Louisiana woman, 30, faces misdemeanor rap for stealing vodka and toilet paper. Man arrested for domestic ketchup battery.
The way that you read that, I thought it was police hunting toilet paper. Like the toilet paper became sentient and started.
Ooh, here we go. Woman, 21, busted for McChicken rage. Pregnant McDonald's manager attacked by customer, cops say.
I'm going to call the cops if you don't give me my McChicken.
There you go. So that's why we go around the web, to bring you the exploits of Florida man and Florida woman.
Florida people, really.
I mean, do we expect anything less? I mean, people pulled crocodiles out of their pants. There's snakes in toilets.
When I read this stuff, it makes me glad I don't live in Florida, because clearly the wildlife is slowly taking over. I mean,
nature finds life
finds a way.
Finds a way.
And now you're selling it.
You're selling it. Yes. Yeah. You're doing it. That's fine. You gotta get the. Yep.
Wow.
That's my gold one. And on that note,
awkward.
It's time to get out of here. Thank you to everyone. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Give us an iTunes review. That'd be swell. Hey, maybe you want to subscribe to our Twitch channel or our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Fluxtaposed, twitch.tv/Fluxtaposed. We're going to do this every Tuesday. Come hang out with us again. Tell a friend. It'll be a grand time. But now I have to say thank you to all of our patrons. But special thanks to our arbiters of awesomeness, Josh Brown, Kyle Heyman, Tyler Rowland, Tom Servo, Matt Knight, our executors of excellence, Edwin Callow, Dude427. He's right there in the chat.
He's in the chat. This guy, he's stalking us, man.
HT3, baby. HT3 for life. And bow before the Crusaders of the Legion, Josh Barbone, Dan Anthony, and Devin Tyus. If you want to pledge before the altar of the Flux Legion on Patreon, please check out patreon.com/Fluxtaposed. We'd be happy to have you. Come back next week for more Fluxtaposed and Rybo. You're in our thoughts. Love you, brother. Now, Chewie, take us home. I'm just impressed. Holy shit, that was good.
That's for you.
That was really good.
I've been saving that up for 3 weeks.
Wow.
Damn it.
I can't even do any stupid voices after that. That was really good.
I will say I don't whistle very well. I can whistle, but I want to do a good R2D2. That's, you know. But it just sounds like you're whistling, you know?
I don't know. That was pretty good too. Wow. I'm just done.
Will
See
you
folks.
be? Will you be my C3PO?
See you next time. Sometimes you gotta leave the